name's Emily Tatak, and today I'll be talking to you about motivation. The best way for me to do a presentation is through PowerPoint, so here is my PowerPoint about motivation. Okay, I just wanted to start with a quote that said, "A motivated staff equals happier customers, higher profits, and less turnover." My article is actually called Motivating Interest, Help Employees Achieve Career Goals. It was published in Restaurants USA magazine in February of 1997, written by Philip M. Perry. I know that this is kind of an old article, but I really liked it, and I thought it still had a lot of good points that a lot of managers nowadays could still use. So the main problem is employee retention. And I found a quote that says, "When an employee walks out of the back door, you lose all your interest, training dollars, and productivity. Starting over with a new employee is very expensive and creates moral problems. Employee retention equals employee happiness. And the best way to get employee happiness is to motivate your employees." So how do you motivate your employees? The article I found mentioned these 4 steps. Actually, there were more steps, but I thought these were the most useful steps for managers nowadays. So the steps are to relate employee goals to those of your restaurant or establishment, provide direct feedback, involve your employees in business planning, and to update your motivational techniques. It's best to always keep looking for new things and new ways to keep your employees interested. So, to relate employee and restaurant goals, the first thing you have to do is explain to your employee that your restaurant's ultimate goal is to make a profit. And a lot of people want to say that, a restaurant's ultimate goal is customer service or to make the customer happy, but we all know we're in this industry to make a profit. So what you have to do then is illustrate how your restaurant making a profit is going to be in your employee's best interest. Unless the employee feels that they're vital partners in the success of the business, they won't perform to their peak abilities or seek out additional ways to be more productive. So showing how a fatter bottom line could lead to increase in salaries and bonuses, as well as insurance against layoffs, these 2 steps will show that employees' personal goals and the restaurant goals are actually tied together. You want to provide direct feedback. Employees need to know their work is seen and worthwhile. It creates value. So the best way to do it is to be specific and provide the feedback in a structured way. So when I say be specific, don't just come up to your employee and be like, "Oh, you're doing such a good job," and leave it at that. You want to come up with specific examples, like how maybe last Thursday your employee stayed late and helped with cleanup duties, or something that's not normally their task that they went above and beyond to do. And another thing is to provide the feedback in a structured way. So the best way to do that is do it on a regular basis and discuss what you consider to be especially good accomplishments they have done, because that way they'll know what I'm doing right, and it'll help motivate the employee, and they'll really start appreciating the work they do and just the establishment overall. Another motivational technique is to involve employees in business planning. I think this is an excellent idea, because I know there have been a ton of times when I've been working that I have this great idea of how I can really make things more productive, or just make it a better work environment in general, and I feel like my ideas never get heard. So holding regular staff meetings and discussing steps the restaurant can take to become more profitable will make the employees' ideas seem valued. The next step after that is to work together with your staff, your employees, everyone, to come up with clearly defined goals it's best to make them as clear and as like set as possible. Write them down, hang them up, just so people know, this is what we're working towards. We all came together and decided that will be the best, and this is what we have to do. 2 things to not do while you're creating goals: don't make too many, and don't allow enough time to achieve the goals. You can't have 30 goals that, they all sound so great, but you have a month to do them. That's impossible, and that'll just lower morale when you can't reach these unattainable goals. And lastly, is to keep updating and changing your motivation techniques. Managers should constantly experiment with different ways to motivate their employees. The article mentioned a few. One of them was flexible work hours, where employees could quote unquote buy and sell vacation days to their coworkers. So, for instance, if I had Friday off and Joey wanted it, he could sell me some of his hours, or try to barter hours, which I don't think it's a bad idea, as long as the people that they're switching hours with are still able to do the job and know that that is their shift now. I know we used to do that at a restaurant that I used to work at, and people would forget, be like, oh yeah, I switched with so-and-so, and they'd never show up. So there would be a lot of rules with flexible work hours, but it's an idea. Awarded programs, they also mentioned, instead of just saying, you work X amount and you get X amount, it would be more like a point system. So if you did something, like if you cleared a table, or if you mopped up a spill, you might get so many points, and then at the end of a period you would get either money or days off or something for the amount of points you build up, which is also another way to motivate your employees. And the last one is monetary incentives, which everyone, wants more money, wants bonuses, wants, money for what they're doing, but a lot of times companies don't have the money or the resources to just give bonuses whenever someone does a good job. So I put monetary incentives up there just because they are an option, but a lot of times, especially nowadays, they're not the best option, because a lot of people don't have the expendable money to be giving to their employees. And I just put a little side note down here that no matter how many prizes or incentives your employees receive, a staff that is unhappy in other areas will still be unmotivated. So you just have to you really have to look at the group of people you're managing and decide what they really, really want, what type of technique or incentive would really talk to them, would really speak to them. Because some people might want, the weekend off, while other people will want money, or other people will want, money to go and eat at the restaurant or something like that. So you really just have to kind of look at your group of people that you're managing and find out what's the best thing for them. And so to conclude, I just wanted to go over the steps again. To relate employee goals to those of the restaurant, provide direct feedback, involve employees in the business planning, and update your motivational techniques. I think the best ways to keep an employee motivated is to really do all 4 of those. And I think if you were to do all of them, your employee will get a well-rounded feeling that they're part of the restaurant. Like I said, make them feel that they are a vital part of the restaurant. I think that's huge, because like I was saying earlier, nothing bothered me more when I felt like my ideas and my thoughts weren't being heard, when I knew a lot of them could really help us out. And also, just making sure that your employees know that their hard work isn't going unnoticed or unrewarded, and that what they're doing is really helping the whole the restaurant as a whole, and just making sure that they know that their little deeds that they're doing and going above and beyond aren't going unnoticed. So, any questions? If you have any, feel free to email me. There's my email address, etatak@kendall.edu. I just want to say thank you for listening, and this is actually the website. I actually found it on National Restaurant Association, so if you want to read the article yourself, I thought it was a great article about motivation. I think everyone should really read it because I thought it was really helpful. So there's the link to the restaurant or the article, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and thank you again.